If I have to speak about the master comprehension, I think it is very beautifully made, very simple yet so effective in terms of how to break down a sentence, how to extract the meaning out of it, which eventually laid a foundation to focus on all the subsections within the verbal. I think the meaning based approach, rather, I should state it in this way. It helped me literally solve questions in less than 90 seconds. Also, I leveraged the Scholaranium platform that is there. I think it's an excellent platform which has very exceptional questions. I think I had come across e-GMAT through the GMAT club, and I had opted for the trial session.
Okay.
And in that, I think I really loved the platform in terms of the way it was structured, and also the learning experience that it provided. Nothing is stronger than a small hope that never gives up.
Hello and welcome everyone to another debrief session of e-GMAT. And today we have with us another rockstar student of e-GMAT. Her name is Shriti. So she has just succeeded in the GMAT exam with a phenomenal score of 720 with a Q50 and a V38. And we welcome you today on this session, Shriti. So congratulations on your score, and how are you feeling?
Thank you very much, Akash. Thank you firstly for having me here, and thank you for your wishes as well. I think I feel very relieved as of now, if I have to say so. Yeah.
Okay. So, guys, just to let you know that she's just probably like undermining her, like the performance in the GMAT as of right now by being so humble. But just to give you a bit of a background about her, so she is a geology student from IIT Kharagpur, and she has more than 8 years of work experience in the corporate field, currently working as a supply chain development manager. Is that correct, Shruti?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So, Shruti, today we brought you here so that we can learn from your journey, okay, from your
Yeah.
journey of the GMAT exam, how you improved, what were your strategies that you applied during your learning phase. So we would want to know about it. So why don't you let us go through your journey? Like, when did you first thought about it?
So, Akash, to be very honest with you, I have been thinking about GMAT for quite some time now.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, in the past, I have also had unsuccessful attempt. However, thanks to e-GMAT, I've been associated with you for quite some time now. Um, if I have to speak about my journey, I think I had come across e-GMAT through the GMAT club, and I had opted for the trial session.
Okay.
And in that, I think I really loved the platform in terms of the way it was structured, and also the learning experience that it provided.
Mm-hmm.
I think after I took my first mock exam on the platform, I think I got associated with you for the last mile push program,
Yeah.
and I think that helped a lot. So we had a very detailed structured plan from you, with very specific activities that I need to do on a day-to-day basis. So if I have to
Mhm.
start from the beginning, I think verbal was something that I found a little daunting at that point in time.
Yeah.
And the first module, if I have to speak about the master comprehension, I think it is very beautifully made, very simple yet so effective in terms of how to break down a sentence, how to extract the meaning out of it, which eventually laid a foundation to focus on all the subsections within the verbal.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that essentially helped me first with the sentence correction section. I think in terms of drawing meaning out of it, I think the meaning based approach, rather, I should state it in this way. It
Mm-hmm.
helped me literally solve questions in less than 90 seconds, just focusing on the meaning and eventually, figuring out the grammar part and the other aspects. The
Mm-hmm.
second one, critical reasoning, I think that was one of my strongest subsections.
Mm-hmm.
In that, the pre-thinking technique did wonders, in terms of before looking at the answer choices, I knew what the answer would be. And again, that saved me a lot of time there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, in fact, the pre-thinking thoughts that I would have while solving the question, they were actually in the answer choices. And I think that was very useful.
Okay.
The third one, if I have to speak about reading comprehension, I think
Yeah.
that is one area that I struggled a lot, like literally struggled a lot in terms of, the cementing quizzes that we have, for
Mm-hmm.
example, the easy, medium, and the hard questions, crossing the threshold as per the plan that you had provided to me. That took me some time, Unfortunately, I couldn't be consistent as well due to few personal
Mhm.
commitments that I had at that point in time. But the hyper specific plans that you provided in terms of the daily reading exercises, or going through few videos which were specifically targeting on my weak areas, eventually, instead of just superficially reading the passage, I started drawing those nuances that the author was
Mhm.
trying to tell, and it helped me solve questions in less than a minute. I think
Mhm.
eventually with time,
Yeah.
it turned out to be very successful. And
Mhm.
I think once we finished the verbal section, we moved to quant.
Yeah.
Quant, I think I was relatively more confident. Um, and in that, the seven process skills that we learned helped again. Uh, I think the pace view, the AI that is there on the
Mhm.
platform, that helped me save a lot of time, because the platform only asked me to focus on areas which were weak for me and just go through those sections, and then give the cementing quizzes to understand where I stand in terms of my ability.
Yeah.
And with time, I think when we move to the hard questions, rather, I must say here, few sections I had to focus upon, but then it was quite a cakewalk eventually.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, no, I do remember that when you joined us earlier, you needed an overall improvement in both the areas, quant and
true.
verbal, in order to reach your target score. And you did that effectively. And yes, as you just mentioned, that it was a little bit of a long journey. I can
Yeah.
understand. And mostly of ups and downs, mostly downs. But
Yeah.
like, how did you motivate yourself back then, like to come up from that particular thing to again become consistent in the journey?
I will not say it was easy.
Yeah.
There were moments of self doubt where, I actually thought, if what I'm doing, is it right for me or not? But I think there's uh, you know, this inner voice that always told me, to continue.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing is stronger than a small hope that never gives up.
Mm-hmm.
There's this quote that I read from one of the books, and absolutely, you have been quite my cheerleader throughout. There were times when I've had, just not talking about how to study, but rather like how to stay
Yeah.
motivated in terms of continuing my journey. So I think you just have to tell yourself that this is something that you can do, because at the end of the day, when you look at the platform, there are tools which help you look at your ability, and I think that gave me some confidence that it's just a phase, and eventually it will just go away.
Yeah. No, wonderfully put out there. Definitely. So you improved your verbal, you improved your count. Then we moved to the last stage, that is the mocks stage,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Now you started off well with the mocks, okay, getting scores of like maybe like 720, 730, okay. Then there was like one mock wherein you got a 660, and then
Yeah.
you bounced back from there in order to get to a 710 in the last as well, and eventually getting the 720 in your final exam. So, like, what was your mindset when you got that 660 out there?
um Actually, this had happened, if you remember, before a certain personal commitment that I've had at that point in time. And when I came back, we did the test readiness, like we do the day one, day two, day three plan, and the set of questions, definitely to increase your and build your stamina in
Mm-hmm.
terms of solving questions in a single seating. However, when I scored a 660, I think I was very disappointed. I thought, I don't think I can do this anymore. However, I think we have had meetings, just a regular check in to understand what went wrong there. We analyzed the data from the platform, and then eventually I again followed the hyper specific improvement plan which you had provided to me in terms of revising my error logs, which was definitely a treasure for me in terms of knowing what to focus upon.
Okay.
And then again doing the test readiness in terms of taking the questions on the platform. And I had to push myself. uh,
Mm-hmm.
I will definitely agree to that. And then gladly it turned out to be well.
Yeah. No, the same thing I would say right now that I said to you then as well, that don't treat the 660 as your ability as of now.
Yeah.
Okay, that is not. You just had a bad day. That can happen to anyone. Okay. You have proved your ability consistently throughout the entire journey, right? And just one data point cannot change your ability on that day. Okay.
Yeah.
And that is what I would want everyone to understand, that you guys can have a bad day, right? But do not let that demotivate you. Just have the like that in like just remove that inertia from within you to come back from it, right?
Yeah, totally.
So, so any particular strategy do you remember like from your mocks which you thought that like really helped you a lot in your mocks?
Yes, I think for the mocks, there were few things which you had also told me about in terms of the time management.
Mm-hmm.
Like, as in, you have X number of minutes that you have to spend for solving Y number of questions, separately for verbal as well as for quant. I
Mm-hmm.
think that helped me a lot. And then eventually also knowing when you have to let go a certain question. I think initially I found it very difficult to just let it go, and I tried solving, because again the test penalizes you if you're not able to complete the entire test. So I think that helped. And also I leveraged the Scholarinium platform that is there. I think it's an excellent platform which has very exceptional questions. Now in this one, I was able to look at the time that I take in each subsection in terms of solving any of them, and
Mm-hmm.
also observing my accuracy. Now, since I was already aware which are my weak areas in the test environment, I gave my 100% in terms of trying it. However, I knew that it's the time has come that I have to let this question go, because I had analyzed and looked at the dashboard enough to know what my strengths and weaknesses were, and I think that helped a lot.
Mm-hmm.
um, Also, I think it is very important that you solve each question on the basis of its merit, like you always have told me, and not to be stuck on it. I think that also helped me a lot. And before you give the marks, it is also essential that you're doing the test readiness in terms of developing stamina by kind of doing not a real mock, but like just
Yeah.
sitting and doing both verbal and the quant questions. I think that also helped me a lot.
Yeah, the prep before the mock is really very important, like doing some
Yes,
kind of like semi mocks,
right.
just before the mocks. You like, I wanted you to relive your mock days before the mock, and I wanted you to relive your exam days during your mock days. So
Right.
that is something the strategy was always there.
Yeah. And also, there is one more point. I think
Mm-hmm.
it is also essential that when you're taking the mock, you do it during the same time that probably you're going to take your exam at,
Mm-hmm.
let's say, in the afternoon or in the morning, whatever it is. I think that also helps, because then your brain is kind of conditioned to, think in a certain way. I think that also helped.
Yeah, it is something that really helps you because if you're trying to give an exam around like say 12 p.m., you should do most of your practice around that so that you're building up your stamina during that time of the day. And you're
Yeah,
building up your entire cycle, your sleeping cycle, your eating cycle, study cycle, everything according to that. That is
totally.
something really very important.
Yeah. And also, every time we completed the mock, it is very essential that you kind of review each and every question, irrespective
Mm-hmm.
of whether you get it right or wrong, because there is so much to learn from every question. There is some new concept. Of, in fact, if you revise it again, probably there is something new that will come to your mind that you learn out of it. And also during this process, the forum wherein we are able to post questions and get answers from the subject matter experts, that also was very beneficial
Mm-hmm.
in terms of clarifying those doubts which are always there, which are getting tested but you don't even know, and then
Yeah,
it just kind of becomes your second nature to think in a certain way. That was also very helpful.
definitely. So, this 720, so this was your second GMAT attempt.
Correct.
Earlier than this, you gave one more GMAT attempt, I think probably a month ago or something,
Yeah.
and you scored a 680 over there.
Yes.
Yeah. So, like, how did you manage your mindset then, and how, like, what were your strategies after getting that 680?
All right. In my first attempt, actually, I think that was the first time I was going to a test center and kind of taking the exam. And I think I was a bit anxious as well, because, uh, again, the exam anxiety that is with every student. And I kind of took, like, I had decided to go with verbal first and then the quant section. However,
Mhm.
I just did not do well on quant. I think there were
Yeah.
uh, two, three questions in the first, I think 15 questions, which I think I spent a lot of time on that, which
Mm-hmm.
eventually led to very little time left for the last block. And then I had to rush through. and I got just a Q47 at that point in time. I think that is something. The time management is something I did not do well.
Yeah.
However, when I went again, as in the recent one that I had taken, in that particular exam, I just knew that I have to focus on the timing aspect. I have to let go of a question if I'm not
Mm-hmm.
able to solve it as per the time limits that we had discussed about, and that helped. And also, I I did not take, I did not worry a lot this time. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, let's go give it a last shot and let's see what happens. So I
Yeah.
think that also,
Yeah, because you've already lived that experience once.
yeah,
So you were definitely less anxious and less nervous this time.
definitely,
That really helped your brain or to think during that particular time. Yes,
yeah.
perfect. Yes, you were going to say something.
Yeah. So I think I would just say change of perspective. I
Yeah,
think it makes a lot of difference.
no, definitely. Thank you so much for letting us go through your entire journey of the GMAT exam. And so we'll move to our next segment. That is a little bit
Okay.
of a fun segment, a rapid fire round that we do a
Yeah.
small rapid fire with all of our students. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
So I'll be throwing some questions at you, and I hope to get some rapid answers back from you. Okay.
All right.
Perfect. Perfect. So let's start with the first question. Okay? So if you could have one GMAT superpower, okay, like for example, like solving all DS questions in just one go, okay, what would
Hmm.
that superpower be?
I think that would be not to overanalyze. Once you get an
Okay,
answer choice, just go ahead with it.
okay. So basically, you need the superpower of not analyzing something and overthinking on that
Over.
particular.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So one song that kept you motivated throughout the journey.
There's this song called Ek Zindagi from
Mm-hmm.
Angrezi Medium. I think
Right.
that helped.
Okay. Beautiful song. Any funny or quirky moment you had in your GMAT journey that always brings a smile to your face whenever you think about it?
Uh, so during the journey, I had put the small notes and posters
Mm-hmm.
across the house. I think by the end of
Okay.
my exam, even my family members were knowing all the tips and tricks that they need to follow.
Okay. Suggest a title that sums up your GMAT journey.
Um, Maybe a journey of perseverance.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Nice. And if you could rewind the time and give your past self one piece of advice regarding the
yeah.
GMAT exam, so what would that be?
Just believe in yourself and enjoy the
Mm-hmm.
process. Yeah,
Okay. Perfect. All right, Shriti. Thank you so much for taking out the time and coming on this platform to share your journey with all of us. I'm sure that all the GMAT aspirants out there would have learned a lot from your journey. And I'm sure that you will be excelling in all your next steps ahead. You have been one of my most diligent students, and it was a pleasure being a part of your journey.
thank you so much, Akash. I think I would have to thank you and the entire e-GMAT team. I think they've been very supportive. This wouldn't have been possible without you. It's a beautiful platform that I've been using. The LMP program was wonderful, and I think I'm very, very grateful to you and the entire EGMAT team.